Good afternoon. We're here at Port Canaveral for the Beach Boys concert that will be playing at 8 o'clock here tonight on Saturday. But right now we're going to talk about high school boys basketball right now. With me I have, as always, Steve Wilson and Orville Susan. Guys, it was an interesting week for the boys basketball. And Steve, we'll start it off with the 2A. What happened in the 2A this week?
Yeah, the first week back after the holidays, sometimes teams are a little rusty, and sometimes if they play tournament games over the 2-week course, they're pretty strong. And we saw evidence of both of that this week. And the Class 2A District 11 consists of 5 teams: the Brevard Heat, Covenant Christian, Masters Academy, Merritt Island Christian, and Morningside. Those teams are gearing up for district competition in a couple of weeks. Basically, 3 of the 5 I think have legitimate shots to pull out the 2 top spots. Brevard Heat may be leading the way at this point. Covenant Christian and Masters Academy, those 3 you could just about flip a coin as to who's going to be where. Morningside and the Cougars down just a little bit. Masters Academy did defeat Covenant Christian earlier this week by 12 points and beat them twice. So between the Heat and Masters, you give those 2 teams the edge. But district competition in a couple of weeks is going to be a lot of fun, because I think basically it's 3 teams fighting for 2 spots.
That will be very exciting. And Orville, we head over to the 3A. What happened in the 3A this week?
Well, the most important thing of all, boys and girls basketball finally starting on a full schedule again after taking, a lot of teams took the holidays off. Now they're getting back into their regular schedule. Some will play 1 game a week for a couple of weeks, some will play 2 and 3. But we're heading down to the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks of the season, and then the district start. This is the most exciting time because everybody plays for district seeding. Doesn't matter if you're 1 and 15 when you get to the district, you still get to play in the district playoffs. And from that point, we know everything can happen, anything can happen. But in Class 3A, we've got Benjamin out of Palm Beach Gardens. We've got the Florida Air Falcons, John Carroll from Fort Pierce, Jupiter Christian, MCC from Melbourne, and also St. Edwards out of Vero Beach. We mainly, in this area here in Class 3A, we look at the Florida Air Falcons and the MCC Hustlers. Both of those teams doing well this year. Last year, Florida Air won the district. MCC come in second. MCC beat Merritt Island this week 47-40, and they also beat Vieira this week 52-34. Rogers and Yana both with 9 points apiece for MCC. For Florida Air, they play Rockledge January 13th next week. That's going to be a big game on the boys' side, just to see how Rockledge is trying to build. They've been down this year. Florida Air, has the guns to beat Rockledge, but we'll see. Rockledge wants to show well at that ball game. Florida Air played district opponents this week. They play MCC on January 22nd. So they have 2 big games this coming week and next week. So you look for Florida Air to continue their run right now toward the district. Right now, coming out today, they're ranked 5th in Class 3A in the state of Florida. So Florida Air is going to be your number 1 team from this county.
Florida Air, there we go for the 3A. As we head over to the 4A, Steve, what do we got going on over at the 4A?
Class 4A is a 7-team district, but realistically there are 2 teams that have taken control, and it's a pair of Tigers. It's the Cocoa Tigers and the Holy Trinity Tigers. Look for West Shore. They have competed at times. Space Coast has won a lot of games, but I think when all said and done, the Tigers are going to duke it out. A mild surprise last week. Heritage Panthers defeated the Cocoa Tigers. Not a major upset because Heritage is playing great basketball, but it's going to be between Holy Trinity and Cocoa for that district. I like the way Cocoa's playing. Jay Wilcox is putting up big numbers, Willie Davis, Chauncey Gardner, but I'm going to fall back to leaning towards Holy Trinity at this point. But district competition in 4A is going to be a lot of fun this year.
He's got Holy Trinity. And Orville, as we head over to the 5A, what we got going over in the 5A?
Class 5A District 14 again, the Merritt Island Mustangs, the Rockledge Raiders, the Satellite Scorpions, and the Titusville Terriers. The Merritt Island Mustangs and head coach Coleman Flashcamp played 2 games this week, and they lost both of them. They lost to MCC 47-40 and the Satellite 55-36. Logan Keith and the Rockledge Raiders lost to Holy Trinity, and like Steve said, Holy Trinity, one of the stronger teams this year in the boys' side. Satellite, they beat Merritt Island 55-36. That was a district contest. Cole Hunter and Blake Taspenick, both with double figures in that ball game for Merritt Island. Titusville, Chris Bainbridge, they're doing well up there. I believe they've only lost 3 games so far. They beat Space Coast 76-46. Russell with 22 points in that one. He likes to put them up for the Titusville Terriers, so he's doing good. They also beat Merritt Island 46-32. And in Class 5A District 3 this week, what's going to happen in that district?
Let's swing it over to the 6A.
Class 6A at the beginning of the year, everybody gave the district championship to the Edgewater Eagles, and although they may win the district, the Heritage Panthers, I think, have come out of nowhere. Defeated Cocoa last week. Sean Willett scored 41 points against a good Cocoa team. Willett scored 40 points earlier this year against Titusville. So that's a team that can compete with Edgewater. They only lost to them by 5 points about 6 weeks ago. I think East River and O'Galley are down. It's going to be a real struggle for either of those two teams to butt heads with the Panthers or the Eagles. But you still have to give the nod to Edgewater at this point, but I love the way the Panthers are playing. We'll find out more about Heritage this week as they play Melbourne and MCC back-to-back, two of the top teams in the county.
Over to the 7A, Orville.
Class 7A, the last classification in Brevard County. Martin County out of the south, Melbourne, Mike Sullivan and the Bulldogs in Melbourne, Sebastian River and Vieira. Melbourne beat Sebastian River in a district contest earlier this week. Logan Folsom with 12 points, Nora Horschel with 14 points. You're going to hear those two guys, especially for the Melbourne Bulldogs, all year long. That's the go-to guys that Mike Sullivan, late in the ball game, likes to have the ball in one of those two guys' hands. So you'll hear those names pop up all the time. They also beat Winter Park 61-57. Again, Folsom and Horschel in double figures for Melbourne Bulldogs. Sebastian River lost to Melbourne, like we said earlier. That leads the way for the Melbourne Bulldogs. Vieira Hawks beat district rival Sebastian River 63-52, and they beat O'Galley 64-56. That's Class 7A for the boys.
That was Class 7A, and that was a look at the action here in Brevard County at the local schools. We're out here at the Beach Boys concert stage right now, the setup, and getting ready for a pretty popular concert along with John Stamos, guys. I don't know how much you guys are excited about John Stamos, but we're, definitely for the ladies, they definitely like the John Stamos. So next up we have the top 5. Taking a look at the boys here in Brevard County for the top 5 for Steve Wilson and Orville Susan. We'll start off with Steve. Steve, who do you got in your top 5?
Well, I only have 5 this week, so this will be brief. I have the
Certainly different.
the Cocoa Tigers checking in at number 5. I bumped them down just a little bit because of their loss to Heritage. I moved Heritage ahead of Cocoa because I think they're just a little bit better at this point. Sean Willett, the leading scorer in Brevard County, is just scoring basically at will. The Panthers at number 4. Number 3, the Melbourne Bulldogs. Huge win for Melbourne against Winter Park last week, a state-ranked Winter Park team. The Bulldogs have yet to lose since Cocoa beat them about a month ago. So I like Coach Sullivan's Bulldogs checking in at number 3. Second-ranked team in Brevard County, the Holy Trinity Tigers. Just continue to win. They've only lost 2 games this year, one to Windermere Prep, one to Lake Highland Prep, 2 of the top private schools in Orange County. I think they're the second best team in Brevard County. Have the Falcons from Florida Air Academy checking in at number 1, but I'm not so sure that Holy Trinity can't compete with them, and maybe even the Bulldogs from Melbourne. So, but at this point in time, I have the Falcons at number 1.
He's got Florida Air in the boys and Florida Air in the girls. Orville, who do you got in your top 5 for the boys?
Well, I agree with Steve on the number 1 spot, but we'll start with the number 5. I got MCC at the I've got 6. I went ahead and cheated a little bit on the boys' side. Steve gets 9 and 10, so I thought I'd smudge a little bit and take 6. But I got MCC at the number 6 spot. I got the Titusville Terriers at number 5. I think they're playing well. I think they're going to get better as they go along. Always when they get toward district playoff time, they always seem to get tougher. I've got the Melbourne Bulldogs at number 4. Holy Trinity Tigers. Steve likes them a lot. I also like them a lot. I've got them at number 3. I've got the Lady Tigers from Cocoa at number 2. And like Steve said, the Florida Air Falcons on the boys' side are the best team in the county.
That was the top 5 for the boys. For Orville Susan and Steve Wilson, we're out here at the Beach Boys concert with John Stamos. We'll be out here in about 8 hours. Once again, thank you for tuning in. This was the Friday Night Locker Room. Thank you for watching.